Greetings and salutations, Seahawks Palaver back. Mike MacDonald is the new head coach in Seattle, and I am stoked about it. Yeah, in my last video, I wanted Ben Johnson, but everyone wanted Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson was a popular pick. But once he took himself out of the running and signaled that he would return to Detroit, in my mind anyway, and I think in the minds of a lot of other people, Mike MacDonald was their number two, and evidently, supposedly, John Schneider's number one, which is why he's holding out for so long for him to become available to interview. Now, I'm stoked about this. He's young. I mean, half the age of Pete Carroll, 36 years old, youngest coach in the league right now. And just like I was last video, I'm still concerned about who's going to coordinate, right? One of his assistants in Baltimore, Zach Orr, who I thought maybe might want to come along, has been promoted to defense coordinator for the Ravens, so he's out. I still would love Patrick Graham from the Raiders, but I don't think that he's going to make a lateral move. I don't think he can make a lateral move. I don't know if he's able to. I don't know what the rules are. I'm sorry. But Patrick Graham, I really like him a lot, and I think he'd be fantastic as DC, but no. No, and even Frank Smith, who I like as offensive coordinator, I don't think he's going to leave Miami either. But I think both of those guys, Patrick Graham and Frank Smith, to be honest, they have a lot of Pete Carroll in them. You know, I mean, they in their interviews and their press conferences, they express a lot of concern for the players, a lot of concern for developing them as people, not just players. And I always liked that culture in Seattle. You know, I always thought that was super positive. You know, a lot of iron sharpens iron mentality, but still, you know, helping people through the rough spots. You know, Carroll always had that soft spot for players who have gone through a lot of adversity, you know, and kind of helping them come out the other side as great people. And I'd like to see that continue, you know. So that's why I like Patrick Graham and Frank Smith. They both have that in them. But lacking that, I don't really know much about a lot of other coordinators because I researched them quite heavily during the head coach search. But now, rumors are, what is it? Okay, Rob Staten's reporting that Ryan Grubb could potentially named offensive coordinator. That'd be great. I mean, his offense might not be kind of similar to like Ohio State's, where it's just the coaches kind of control the game plan. Not a whole lot of flexibility on the quarterback, which is kind of why maybe we saw Michael Penix kind of fall apart in the title game, right? Because they didn't really have answers when the play went awry. You know what I mean? Didn't have a plan B. So maybe that's a concern, but I mean, I think a good offensive coordinator adapts to the team he has, right? Also, you know, as well as, you know, implementing his philosophy. But I mean, you'll never succeed if you just try to force, you know, round pegs into square holes a lot of times. So I think that Ryan Grubb's great. I mean, I didn't really consider him a target. He just signed a contract last year, I think, for like $2 million a year. He's really like one of the highest paid assistants in all of college football. Granted, not much for, you know, the Allen family and the Allen Family Foundation, but I just didn't see him as an option. So I didn't really look at him. I was thinking more guys that I've always liked. Mike Denbrock over at LSU, another old grizzled veteran offensive guy. I've always liked his game plans. You know, he always makes the quarterbacks look good. I thought he was a good potential hire. Andy Ludwig at Utah. People don't really think about the Utah Utes offense, but it's a really good, consistent offense, and it has been for years. And he's just another really solid coach. So there's nothing linking them to Mike MacDonald. A guy who I was thinking was like Will Muschamp, the old defensive coordinator at Georgia. He is actually taking time off now. He's a year younger than me, and he's like taking time off to spend with family. You know, I'm like, sorry, dude. But I thought, you know, he's been around. Him and Mike MacDonald do have a history. Their paths did cross at Georgia, and I thought he would have been a great stabilizing force at defensive coordinator. Lacking that, Leslie Frazier, you know, I want to talk about a steady hand at the wheel. That's Leslie Frazier. He would get your defense going, hold people accountable, and I think he's like a a guy who understands the coaching ranks enough to, not be to be able to function with a younger head coach. I just think that Leslie Frazier's always been one of my favorites out there. Kind of like a Tony Dungy type almost. I don't know. I think Frazier would be a really good addition. I don't know if it's going to happen. This is all just speculation for me. Even the two offense coordinators I was looking at, Dumbrock and Ludwig, no real connection to them. I just know that they're really good, solid coordinators. Older. They've been around the block a couple times. I thought maybe they'd be steadying influences for a guy who's just stepping into his first head coaching gig at a young age. All right. Anyway, I'd appreciate to hear your thoughts on who you want to boss as the coordinators. If you have any positions, if you know Mike MacDonald's coaching tree, who else they could bring in. I know there's some also talk of T. Martin, who I remember him leading that championship for Tennessee back in the day. Because I'm old. But I've always appreciated T. Martin, and they worked together for a long time in Baltimore. So, a long time, 3 years, right, in Baltimore. And I think that'd be a really fascinating hire, too, if they don't get, a Ryan Grubb. I think a T. Martin would be really, really interesting. But I would like to see, we have this young hotshot head coach. I kind of want to see. It might be fun to have a bunch of young hotshot head coaches everywhere. Maybe get a snag Garrett Riley away from Clemson or something. I don't know. But I think having some dudes that have been around for a while, kind of know how things work, and they can just slide on in. That would be nice. We did retain some people. I think Carl Scott is staying as a senior defensive assistant. He worked with the defensive backs a lot past 2 years or whatever. I think he came in with Sean Desai. I guess they saw enough in him to give him a promotion. I know that the talk was that he was another, up and coming defensive mind, mastermind. We'll see. I'm interested to see where that goes. Let's see who else is in the future not yet determined. Larry Izzo, I'd love to see Larry Izzo stay. The Seahawks special teams were a highlight, and they have been for years. Really solid. I mean, ignoring, the kicking game, which, is only good every other year with Jason Myers, right? But I love Larry Izzo. I think he's great. Carl Smith, you can go away as far as I'm concerned. Greg Olson, I don't really know. Sanjay, Pat, Andy Dickerson did a good job with the offensive line, but I think probably some improvement can be made there. I mean, let's be honest. Our offensive line, outside of our starters, our depth is kind of terrible, and I don't know if that's the difference in talent between our starters and our backups. If that's all on Andy Dickerson, not being able to coach them up, or is it just talent? It's really hard to say. And Abe Lucas being hurt so much, just really knocked our offensive line for a loop. Let's see, Nate Carroll, Damian Lewis, BT Jordan. There's a lot of hype around his hire last year. I think we can probably be credited with a lot of the development of Boye Mafe, but whither Derek Hall, right? How come Derek Hall didn't develop as a pass rusher? I'm expecting a bit more from BT Jordan, but I'd really love to keep him on staff because his reputation precedes him, and we'll see what happens there. Deshaun Shedd, Will, Tukuafu, Nico Thorpe, old school Seahawks. It'd be nice to have them around. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, they're always in the background anyway, but we shall see. Anyway, guys, give me your thoughts. Do you have a coordinator wish list? I know it's kind of geeky. Little football nerd stuff going on, but we just hired a big football nerd. The guy didn't even play, in high school, college, whatever. Never played ball. That's like a dream come true for people who've grown up playing Madden. Like one day I'm going to be a head coach because I'm so good at Madden. Well, you never know. All right, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let me know what's going on in the comments. Feel free to like and subscribe because that'd be cool. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next time. All right, guys, have fun.